Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Leadership from the Heart. I'm your host, Romie. Actually, today I'm not your host. Melanie will be your host. We're going to do a little switcheroo. And I invited Melani on to kind of do like a friends segment, right? Melanie and I are very close friends, and I thought it would be a cool idea to have her interview me and see what questions, the regular folk have and go from there. So, Melanie Alonso, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. But yes, very excited to be here. Thank you for choosing me here. I'm sure it was a very bunch of interviews that I had to go with you and your producer. I'm glad you guys chose me. But yes, Romie and I definitely go way back. I believe it's 2012 New Year's that we met in New York.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Feel like the vibe check was there right away. Our humor is exactly the same. We laugh at the wrong times when things are serious. But we definitely approach life in a way that's a little bit more joyful. So yeah, definitely love what we got going on for quite some years now.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. This is your interview. Guess away. No pressure.
For real. But yeah, I mean, as far as getting to know you, right, all your listeners, we definitely want to make sure that we get the insight of little Romie back in the day, maybe get a little glimpse of where everything started, give your audience an image there. Do you know where you were conceived?
Actually, I do. It was the summer. It was, I was a part of a makeup session between my mom and dad. Not mistaken, they were in Haiti like the summer prior to me being born. So that's pretty cool that you,
Oh,
you wanted to
damn.
start.
Is,
So
is
did you
this,
know?
yeah, you have it tattooed here when, oh, damn. Is this something you asked or your parents were just, it's part of a story that they shared?
That's a great question. Now you've got me stumped because I don't know why I know that information.
I
Like,
don't know.
I don't see a conversation where I'm just like, so mom, dad,
What was the
but
vibe?
I do know that information. So there had to
Damn.
obviously have been a conversation. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Imagine if it had to be like put in your birth certificate, right? For people back in the car, mama's car. But damn, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess just touching base on your, as a child when you grew up, was this more of a lifestyle of sitting at dinner with parents, or was it more everyone has their own little room and time away? How was it? Just your daily life being as a kid? A little
Yeah,
glimpse.
you're having me like try to remember the parts of childhood that I do remember. There's so much to it. For the most part, I think the core memories of our household was pretty structured. Like my mom worked a lot. She was a single mom. And so my brother and I, he's 2 years older than I am. We would just have like our duties to do, right? So like obviously go to school. I think we would either catch the bus or walk home. But we were in sports, so that went late. If that was the case, then my mom would pick us up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like for the most part, the core memory to your question that I have is we'd get home, we on days we weren't supposed to play outside, we still played outside and made sure we, ran home before mom got home, and then left our books open as if we were doing homework.
The stuff.
And then we always had to do our homework. Obviously, my mom she's very studious, and she cared a lot about academia, where me and my brother cared a lot about sports and playing and stuff like that. And we would do our homework. We would have dinner together for the most
Mm-hmm.
part, and then we would have like 1 hour of TV that we would watch like as a family. And so it was always like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and Martin, or Family Matters and Fresh Prince or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, it was just like wind down time. Everybody go into their own space or whatever and do whatever they needed to do. I'm sure, my mom needed like a break from like life. So I think that was it. It was pretty structured. And then as we got older, we kind of just did our own thing. We had our own friends and we had our own schedules and stuff like that. So it got a little more, not chaotic, but a little more individualized as we got older. But the core memory is, yeah, we used to do homework together, eat together, all the things. Like my mom was really like not strict, but like really cared about us having that time together around the table. And I don't even know
Okay.
what we talked about, but I know she forced us to talk.
I mean, That's amazing, the fact that she actually brought you guys in as opposed to,
Right.
having you guys separated. Did you
Yeah.
guys have any like type of like traditions or anything growing up, or?
Like not traditions, but we grew up, I mean, very Haitian, right? Both parents Haitian. And so we got tired of eating like Haitian food. And so we came up with like a new schedule for food. And like Monday was like Italian night. Tuesday we'd have Haitian food. Wednesday was something else. And so every day, I think Wednesday was like American food. Like, so every day we had like a different cuisine, and that was,
Mhm.
a lot of our Spanish nights were Pollo Tropical. Shout out to Pollo Tropical.
Damn, that was the spot.
Always, it always is. And then Friday was like a free for all, just because you could have whatever you want. So that was not necessarily tradition, but it was like our thing, and
Mhm.
we liked it a lot. Like we really stuck to that for a while that I could remember, just to make dinner fun, or like at least
Yeah.
the first question you ask when you get in the car is, "What's for dinner?"
Yeah.
Like, for my mom, it was like music to her ears, not so much. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, "Mom, how was your day? It's so good to see you." It's, "What's for dinner?"
Yeah, cafeteria food didn't really hit the spot a lot of the times, but
Yeah, right.
and were you hands-on in the kitchen when there was cooking involved? I know
No,
you technically, I've eaten your food and it's amazing, so I wonder, was it kind of from a childhood thing or just kind of picked it up later on?
I think I picked it up. Cooking was more with my dad. Like he would ask to like help in the kitchen, and like from a teaching thing, like, "Hey, you're gonna want to know this for the future." Um, and I think my mom did a little bit too, but for sure, I remember core memory cooking with my dad, showing me like, "Okay, this is what you put in this. This is how you season that," and like just picking up from like watching him, and then for sure, once I got my own place, 18, 19 years old, then you got to do it. Like, you got to figure it out. Of course, as a kid, millennial style, we did have to fend for ourselves, right? So the ramen noodles, the palomilla steak that took 2 seconds to
Oh
cook,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
the small things that you did as a kid to survive, the salchichas, the little
Vienna sausages.
sausages.
Yes.
Those are all like real. Those were things in your house that you had all the time, no matter what. And so you got creative. But, like, you didn't season anything back then, like, your steak was probably, like,
Salt, pepper. That's as far as when you open up that drawer.
never any pepper, just salt. Pepper was for the grown
And then
folk.
you got fancy with the garlic salt.
Later in life, I didn't know that there was garlic salt back then. I don't think I
Yeah.
did. I can't remember. That's good. That's a good question.
Is there a dish that you've nailed or that you're like, this is my staple?
Man, I don't think I've cooked anything, like, repetitive enough for me to feel like, "Oh, this is my jam. Like, this is what I know
Hmm.
how to do well." I wish that now that you're talking about it, I've always wanted to be that person that like gets invited to the party and like, "Hey, you've got to make your." I haven't been invited to many parties.
Due to the plate of food that I bring, they don't want it.
No, I haven't done something enough to where that happens, but I wish I did now. Thanks, Mel.
I mean, I've tried many of your foods. I feel like maybe you're kind of not giving yourself enough kudos. Maybe it's not a repetitive dish, but I think for sure you have some staples out there with your beans that you made, your Chilean sea bass that you've made me. Like those are pretty high up there.
Yeah, I'd say Chilean sea bass is a pretty good one. That one that always.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, of course, the other thing, one of the main qualities that I definitely admire from you is your confidence. You always seem to have it going on, even if it's in a new room or you're going in with the intention that you know what you're talking about. Is this something that you feel like you worked on and you build up to it, or do you feel like this is something that I'm kind of a natural. I just kind of take charge and then see how it rolls out.
Yeah, I think that I I didn't always know that I had that. Like, I didn't know that that was something that
Hmm.
was like a gift. I thought everybody had it. So when people didn't have it, I'm like, "Hey, bro, like, just, fake the
Dig.
funk. You got it." And it wasn't until like one of my previous bosses is like, "Yeah, you have like enough BS in you to like get through it." And I'm like, "Huh,
Mm,
is that what I have? Like, just enough bullshit to like get through the
yeah.
conversation?" And then I started to like unpack that a little bit, and I was just like, okay, well, I can see that where I can kind of get through any kind of conversation because I can
Mm-hmm.
pick up enough clues to like piece things together pretty quickly.
Okay. Okay.
But I think that it definitely comes natural. It's not something, as I practice it, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find myself doing now that I'm aware of it is looking for commonalities in the conversation, right? So I'm always super curious about people. I always want to know more. And so I like that already gives me like okay, I'm listening pretty intently. And then if I find like patterns or commonalities, then I'll use that thread and I'll pull
Mm-hmm.
on that thread a little bit longer so that the conversation does continue to go in a certain direction. And so it feels very authentic because it is.
Right.
And it also comes from a place of just being super curious. I think if people are just really curious enough, they'll find the way
Mm-hmm.
to continue the conversation and exude that confidence that you're talking about. Because there are times where I'm obviously not confident and I'm like fucking shaking. You've been there, right? When I'm about to go like
Right.
give a speech at like the driver dinner and I'm
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
downing drinks and I'm like, more. And everyone's like, you're gonna do fine. I was like, inside I don't feel fine,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? But and it's fine. And so now the trick is to like do it often enough, get yourself
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable often enough to give yourself reference points, you know, that you can go back and like, now I know I'm gonna be fine. Yes, I'm gonna be uncomfortable. Like I just gave a presentation a couple weeks ago and in Dallas and I was fine up until like the day. And the day of, I'm like, ooh, I was like, I know this feeling. And I also know you're going to be fine. And so like I start the presentation and it's like shaky and I can feel it and I'm like, all right, you got to do what you got to do, which is for me it's like walk around, use my hands, kind of get the energy out and then it flowed perfectly. I was able to close like really well and everyone's just like, "Damn, girl." And I'm like, "You have no idea." I was dying
If
inside.
you could record your inner thoughts, it wouldn't be the same face any thought.
No, I
But
couldn't even see anyone. Like I can't even see you.
shoot, yeah, yeah.
But that's normal.
And once you're up there, is there any type of, I'm just gonna, your typical thing that people say, right? Just imagine you're alone in the room, or imagine people are distracted just so you kind of, or focus on one person. Some people say like they'll put like a rubber band and just, or something to kind of mess with
Right.
so your nervousness goes there. Is there any trick to you, or it's just practice and you get there?
I think for me, it's I do like the opposite of what those people say. The use of my hands is really good. We were in
Okay.
front of like a panel, so to say, and
Mm-hmm.
like in the first presentation, he kind of gave the guy feedback of like not walking around, and I'm like, damn, dude, like
Mm.
that's my thing. Like I need to walk to like use the energy and like calm down. So now I'm having to
Yeah.
stay in place, and now I'm like fixated on staying in place. But I kind of do the opposite. I don't focus on one person. I make sure to like look around the room constantly,
Good.
almost like robotic, but it doesn't seem robotic, but it looks like I'm, just saying the thing. I'll make eye contact with one person or somebody thinks I make eye contact with them when really I'm just blurred.
And you are, it's like, you
And
were like
so
locked in.
just trying to stay on because I didn't use my notes. Like it was one of those where I was able, like I knew my content, so I was able to go without notes. And I think that that's the biggest thing in presentations is you got to know your content. If you don't know your content, then even when you get stuck, you can't bullshit your way out because you don't know your content, right? And it's clear when people don't know their content because they're reading the screen and they're their what do you call that demeanor, body language is letting you know that they don't know their content. But
Yeah, yeah,
when you know your stuff, you stand up straight and you can BS your way through. Nobody knows what you're going to say but you. So if you
right?
have to like, finagle your way or say a couple new things, like whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're definitely our biggest critique sometimes, and if you fall into that trap, then it's gonna show. But most of the time, like you said, like people don't know, just show up, and yeah, I agree with that for sure. Another beautiful side of you is your spiritual side. You definitely have been guidance to many people, including myself, anywhere from like retreats, awakenings, testing new things, right? And is that something that you intertwine with your career, with your job? Is this something that's just more meaningful to yourself? If you don't like share, but when it comes to career and your spirituality, if that's something that's intertwined or not.
Yeah, for me in my life, obviously being one person, it is definitely I embody all of it, right? All
Mm-hmm.
like all the time. And so recently I just had a podcast last week with Kat, who I think it'll probably come out next week or the following week,
Mm-hmm.
where I invited her on because she's very spiritual and it's what I want to pivot towards, right? I know this is a leadership podcast, but I also want to tell people how I got here, right? Because how I got here is not just by studying the characteristics of leadership, right? Like that's important. That's super important.
Yeah.
And as an individual, you have things, we all have things. And so if I'm going to take people through in a coaching and mentorship program, then we're going to have to uncover some pretty sometimes deep things, and not all the time is that, just by changing your mindset, right? That some of it comes from like inside, like your internal world. So in order for me to be completely authentic with people, I think I have to go there. I have to kind of share the pieces of me that I haven't yet shared with like the public, because there was a fear of like, if they know, then, the corporate side of me is not going to be accepted. And like, now I'm just like, fuck that. Like, if I'm not accepted in the corporate world, that's okay. Right. But I need to be able to, like, I feel like half of me was, um, hiding while the other half of me was like out here just pretending that I got here just through like perseverance and resiliency, and that's just not the case, not at least not my story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think here shortly we're going to be saying a lot more of like like how I unpack certain things, right? How do you not take things personal? You can't just talk yourself into not taking things personal, right? There's work to do in order for you to not take things personal. You're taking things personal because something's triggering you. So like, let's go to the trigger, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
once we identify the trigger, and then what, right? So I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about that, and I'm probably going to be inviting a lot more guests that have a heavier spiritual side, because I think as a collective we're just moving in that direction anyway, and so we might as well just start talking about it.
For sure. Yeah. I'm glad that it is it's in the forefront to make sure that this is something that you put up out there, especially because you're so in tune with yourself. And I think it takes someone like you to share, even in the leadership world, right? And or personal. It can just stay within the personal side, but it's gonna reflect also when you come into to work and as an employee or as a leader or as a boss or whatever it is. So that's beautiful that you are gonna show more that side of you a little bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah, scary but cool. I think it's going to be very cool.
Yeah. So when all of this leaked, right, and people heard that I was going to be interviewing you, and the masses started writing to us, sending us questions to ask you. Your audience is very eager. So we did gather some questions from the outside world of your fans. So if you don't mind, we're gonna pivot and answer some of your fans' questions. Is that cool with you?
This is so funny. Of course you do. Absolutely.
Your producer gave me the thumbs up, so we're good.
That damn producer.
We need to give him a name.
Listen,
Now, let's see. I did give your listeners an aliases because I didn't really clarify if I can share their name or not, but we'll go from there. First question is from Triceratop Pam. She sent out a question saying, if you can master one thing instantly, what would it be?
if I could master one thing instantly, what would it be? For me, it would definitely be certainty. Just knowing all the time, everything is going to be like, you're in alignment, you're here, everything's going to be fine. You don't have to spiral. So for sure, certainty.
Wow, that's beautiful. Do you feel like, is there a certain time that you're like, at night, you're like, ah, man, here we go, and overthinking your daily routines and stuff like, not
No,
routines, but
all
decisions?
the time.
Yeah.
I wish it was just
I
like,
wish it was just not.
yeah, I think that it depends, right? It depends on what it is. It depends
Yeah.
on how much control I feel like I have around the
Mm-hmm.
subject. It depends on, and it's usually when you spiral when you don't feel you're in control, right? And so in this tug of war that I'm doing of working on certainty and knowing that everything's going to be fine. As an optimist, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a different level of certainty that is required, because I think I've always thought the glass was always half full, but this
Mm.
level is, let me take it a step further, right? So as an optimist, I always think the glass is half full. And yet there's this side of me that thinks that, like, well, let me just go do that, like, because that is like the right thing to do, instead of like waiting on like God, but I'm just helping him. Like, I'm just obviously this is what's gonna happen. So let me just go do that thing. Even though, like, I know that, like, I'm supposed to chill, but like the chaos inside, right, just says like, let's just say that. Let's just say that to that person. That's
Yeah.
so certainty means like sitting back, and it's a whole different thing happening inside.
I feel like there's exactly what you just said. I'm the type of also to act sometimes a little too quick, and I just maybe point the finger at intuition, and it's like, oh, I don't know if that's intuition, but
Uh-huh.
it sounds good, right? We should
Yeah.
probably just go and do it. But you're right. There is such thing as let the pieces fall because God got you, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I heard that intuition speaks in statements and ego speaks in questions. And so whenever I get,
Shoot.
should I say that? I'm like, nah, girl, you know that you shouldn't say that. But like the download, like the go move in this direction, that feels real. Like, that feels real. And like, I gotta be honest with you, like, this happened like 2 days ago and I got it. And I'm like, nah. Like, I know that that was a statement, but I'm not prepared.
Say it one more time to my face.
So then said it again, and I'm like, there's no way. There's just no way. And then I'm walking and it says it again. And I'm like, all right, like, okay, like, this feels real, but I need a signier sign. I need one more little, 'cause now I'm scared. Like, and so that's the difference, right? So ego speaks in questions, and you almost feel really good doing that one, where like the intuition speaks in statements and you're afraid. Like, I was talking
Wow.
to a friend from my childhood best friend, Fabi, and I was just like, intuition tells you to like go talk to that lady that's crossing the street. And you're like, for what? Like, what am I going to say to her? And it's just like, just go talk to her. And you're like, there's no way, right? Just like, and it's telling you what to do, right? And instead of like, oh, I know I'm going to, whatever, like,
Mm-hmm.
in the ego sense, right? Like, should I say that thing to someone else? And you're like, yeah, I should say that thing for sure. They need to know this. If they don't know, if I'm not the one that says it to them, how will they ever know? Very
Yeah.
big difference. Like, you should be almost not scared of your intuition, but like your head and your intuition don't always make sense to each other. And that's how
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like am learning. She's speaking. I call her, obviously I'm a woman, so I say, oh, she's speaking. And like, okay, this is scary, and I feel like I should walk in that direction, because I'm resisting
My goodness, that was beautiful. That
it.
needs to go on a bumper sticker, shirt, hat. I love that. That was a great reminder of what that is, yeah. Alrighty, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
We got a listener. She's gonna go by Jamie Rex. She is asking if Who You Are Now had a theme song,
Mm.
what would it be and why?
If Who I Am Now had a theme song. Yeah, I always think about this song that I always tell my friends I want them to play at my funeral, which is really, which is really morbid.
I haven't received that invitation.
You haven't received that information. Well, now it's going to be public. Um, the song "I Hope You Dance."
I
I don't know
hope
if you've ever
you
heard it.
dance.
Yeah, like, I
Okay.
hope that like nothing ever happens to you. Just forget who you are, and I hope that you're able to, still look up at the sky and acknowledge, still be small enough to know, like, still be small enough to know that there's something bigger, still be big
Mhm.
enough to know that, like, you matter. Like, that song for me, ever since I was a kid, and I would listen to it. And that's why, like, I'm like, oh, I would love this played at my funeral, because I think it's such a good song to remember, right? Just to
Mhm.
remember, like, fucking, and then of course I love dancing. So like just dance, like, no matter what, even in the saddest moments, and there have been some, just remember that, like, you're going to die one day. And like, you're living right now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if with, you know, what's happened to, you know, throughout this year, I think I really love who I am right now. And I think it's because I've just remembered that like there's so much life to live. And yeah, things that happen suck sometimes. Things turn around and you don't even know what happened, you know? And yet there's this subtle reminder of certainty. And if you just like it's so cliche, but like if you can learn to like just pick your head up every morning and like just get through the day on the hard days, then like better days show up and you're just like, huh. And now I feel like almost invincible. God, we don't have to challenge me. Like we're good. Like we're good. I feel like you can rest. I'm not your strongest soldier. Like I almost feel like invincible. Like I feel like I've gone through like some of the darkest moments in the last couple of years, and I think that having gone through them, I'm like, yeah, let's go. You know, like it can only get better. It can only get better.
Nice. I like that a lot. Is this a song that have you played it when you do feel some type of cornered and it's or do you feel like that's just a song that just has a happy ending? Have you played it throughout your life in those moments?
I played
Okay.
it not in like sad moments. It's not really a song that comes to me when I'm sad at all.
Like a pickup
Um,
song or not
like
necessarily?
when I hear it, I can get emotional at times when I hear it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those like it's a feel good song because it's just
Okay.
the lyrics are just super lyrical person as well, and the lyrics are
Mm-hmm.
just such a beautiful reminder to like again just like look up at the sky, remember who you are, dance, don't sit it out. Like don't ever put yourself in the corner cuz like life is just happening right here. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
happening right here, you know? You could just get out of this and like remember that there's so much here. Man, that's where the money is. That's where everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely agree with that. Well, I'll definitely have to hear it again because it's not a song that you typically just
No, you
it
don't hear it
runs through
anymore.
your
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say
It's not even on my rotation, which is really sad. I need to put some notes
you're
in
like,
my phone.
hold up. All right. We have another question from Camila Soares. I don't know if you know who that is, but it says, if entrepreneurship had a dating profile, what would its red flags be?
If entrepreneurship had a dating profile, what would its red flags be? Such a Camila question. I don't know if it's very interesting that you say red flags because there are really, really red flags. Like, so I guess a red flag, if it was a profile, you have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to die. Like you have to like what ET says, like if you need it, just like you have to be willing to succeed just as much as you want to breathe, you know, in order to
All
find
in?
success. You got to go all in, like, you know what I mean? So like I guess if that was like a dating profile that you got to be willing to die, like I would red flag you, you know what I mean? In a person to person, you know, if you're looking for your ideal mate, that wouldn't be one that I click on.
That would be a swipe left to right, whatever it is.
The coolest thing about entrepreneurship and like the thing about dating and red flags or whatever, like I find it so funny and on social media how people describe red flags and stuff like that. And it's there are some psychopaths out there. You guys know I love crime. I love true crime. I don't love crime. I love true crime. And I love like docu series and I love all those things. And like it's fascinating to me. What's fascinating is the mind of the person that's able to carry these things out, right? Like what kind of person does it take? That's kind of like the psychology. I love psychology. But in dating or just red flags, period, I think that like everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean? Like truly, truly. And I think that the reason is always like an invitation for you personally to um, go a little deeper inside of yourself or get a little closer to God, you know? And so I think it's a two-part thing for me. Setting your boundaries and not letting anyone intrude is one thing. Very powerful, very meaningful. If those boundaries were put up because you are like this healed person and this is a boundary, and it's not avoidance, right? Because there's a difference between avoidance and boundaries. And so I think that like a lot of people still use avoidance instead of boundaries, and they call them boundaries, right? And what they don't realize is that that avoidance is stopping them from their potential and what they're actually trying to call in, right? The person, the thing, whatever they're trying to call in. When you are confronted with a not true boundary and you're trying to avoid or whatever, and you push it away, you don't get to have that experience of like, oh, this is a thing. Like, let me go search, let me go find out why this is a thing for me. Instead, we just push that person away and then we keep attracting those types of people for that exact reason. So, like, imagine, you know, God, the universe, source, energy, trying to teach you a lesson. You're calling in this thing. I want my fucking soulmate. Like that's it. I want my soulmate. God, please, 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 please bring me my soulmate. And then God brings you this person, and or that doesn't even have to be a person, right? But God brings you this person, and this person starts to like trigger you, and you're like, I said to bring me my soulmate. Like what the fuck is this, right? And what we don't realize is that God brought you this person so that you can either heal some parts of you in preparation for your soulmate. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're like pushing this person away and you're like, next, 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 next. And it's the same repeated thing because you haven't learned it yet. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're like not able to get to your soulmate because you have work to fucking do. You got to be the soulmate in order to attract the soulmate, right? And so what I started to do more recently is just accept like everything that comes, and it's not so much fun, but accept everything that comes as like this invitation to go deep. And it is exhausting sometimes. But like my challenge is if my soulmate is 6 months away from me, what would I be doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
I would be fucking fine tuning myself like a mother effer to be prepared for that person when they show up to be everything that I could be, right? So if everything you wanted was guaranteed 6 months from now, what would you be doing right now? That question, I'm like, oh, I'd be working out, I'd be studying, I'd be this, I'd be working in the business, I'd be so why aren't you doing that shit right now? You know what I mean? And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that like we talk about the red flags, but sometimes we are the red flag, right? Sometimes the red flag is us
You just walk in the relationship with the flag in our
avoiding
face.
the work, avoiding the work. And it's so funny. Um, because you're on social media and everybody, there's so many people, so you read these things and you're like, oh, okay, like they're just living their life and everyone's on their journey, and I honor and respect that. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, I think it means like going to do the work, and that's what entrepreneurship is. To full circle your question is,
Yeah.
if you become an entrepreneur, it's going to bring every fear you've ever had to the surface. Ones that don't even have to do with entrepreneurship are going to
Mm-hmm.
come up. And if you want to be like successful, or I don't want to say successful, if you want to be in your full potential as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to look at those things, and you're going to
Yeah.
have to like accept those fears and move through them and then come out on the other side.
I mean, it looks like you got your your challenges going, but
So much
it's
fun.
nice to know you understand it and you're like, all right, let's just push it.
Let's just go. I mean, not immediately all the time, but like within 24 hours, I can like now say like, okay, this is what this is meaning. Like, okay,
I feel
maybe
like
we
you're
do
the
have a
type that
codependency.
that
Maybe we do
laughs at
have a,
it too.
say it again.
So I feel like you're the type that kind of laughs at it too when you
100%.
acknowledge it or understand it. You're like, oh, yep,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what I was requesting.
Yeah, like recently I've been like, I want to like heal from this codependency thing. Like I don't want to feel, codependent, and I didn't even know I was codependent like until like a situation happened, and I was just like, why am I feeling like this? And I was like, maybe we are a little more attached than we thought to this thing or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. It has to happen, both ways, We had one of your listeners that actually sent an audio question.
okay.
It just came in right now. Everyone's listening. I'm assuming you're going to be able to when I play it close to my headphone.
Yeah, it
Let me
should be.
know. Hey guys, I can't wait to hear this podcast. Yes. I'm sure it's going to be filled with a lot of continued success in your podcast and all your endeavors. So here are some of my questions. If we took a trip down memory lane, where would our first stop be? And what would we order? Were you able to hear it clearly?
Yeah, I heard it clearly. I just don't know who that is to ask them. Like, is it a trip to memory lane with them?
If we were to take a trip, so yes, I would say it would be between you two. This is from Ellie Soares. Ellie.
I love it. I love it. Koto showed up. Man, oof, Ellie and I. Geez, there's things we can't. There's so many memories. Why are we so old now? All right. So if her and I took a trip down memory lane, it would be 2000 and we would be, she said, and what would we pick up? What would we order?
What would we order? Yes.
We would,
Where
it
would our
would
first
just be
stop be?
alcohol because that's what back then it would just be alcohol. It would probably be Malibu with pineapple.
Yeesh.
So old.
Damn.
It would be Malibu with pineapple.
Sugar with sugar.
And just sugar. I mean, listen, our bodies we burned it off with,
Yep.
with 10 hours of dancing we were gonna probably go do after that. But
Yeah.
yeah, man,
Damn.
more than 20 years ago. And yeah, just about 20 years ago, actually. 19. I was 19. 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, damn.
years ago. That's so good. Love you, Coach.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, for sure. We got two more. Now, mind you, everyone sent multiple questions. I just decided to choose one from each, but your
Yeah.
call if you want us to go all night and ask all of them, but
We don't have to go all night.
you want to go all night, Remy? Next up, this one is more of a scenario. They kind of wanted to paint a picture.
Yeah.
This is from, I don't know if you know her, Jay Rostaffer. So it goes a little like this. You're in pure chaos. There's water everywhere. It just feels like a life or death type of situation. The odds are all against you. You check your pocket. The only thing you find there is your wallet. The question is, are you going down with your wallet or do you launch it to safety?
This feels very familiar.
A little bit of what do they call it when you relive something? Deja vu?
First, you kiss it.
Let's do this.
And then you launch. It's to let people know that you were here.
Yep. Yo, that's another one we need to do a shirt. I wasn't even there and I know this story. One of those classic ones.
Oh my God, man, to think that was such a wild, fun person. I still am, but like that,
Damn.
that's
Oh my God.
that's a wild. That's so funny. She would ask that. Thank you, Janet.
One of our last fans, your fans here. Let me go ahead. It's also a voice memo. Wonderful things happening in your life currently. Do you ever find it difficult to focus on one task? If so, how do you manage that?
With all the wonderful things happening in life lately, how do I focus on one task?
Do you ever find it difficult to focus and I guess indulge in that one thing, or is it more of, or how do you manage that
Yeah.
with so many wonderful things? And that's
Yeah.
from
So like
Pure Lovers.
right now in business, I have like a new program I launched. It's a mentorship program. And it's a pivot from what I'm used to doing, but I think this is where I'm strongest. I have that. And then I have like another school community that I'm going to start because I think that like my life revolves around community and building people up. So I have that I'm going to start. And I just finished my first book. So like
Whoa.
3 things happening at the same time. And I have a couple of clients that I'm working with. And so there's a lot. But what I have found is what I require for me is a commitment to doing something every day. What that something is can change. Like today, I know like after we get off of this, like I'm going to start working on like the editing. The editing's kind of done, but I'm going to be working with like a publishing company and stuff like that. And so I need to start working on that. But that's like on my way home today, I was just like, yeah, that's what I feel like doing tonight. Like, I feel like being in my creative mode and like putting the final touches on this book. And so I was just like, okay, well, that's what we'll do today. But it's always something. Like, I've always got to do something to keep it going. And I say something, and it could be as small as, like, I have 3 emails in my inbox that I need to answer. It could just be answering those 3 and feeling complete today, because I used to be the
Mm-hmm.
type of person that I needed to be sitting at the computer till like 1 a.m. If I'm not grinding it out, then nothing would happen. Like, no clients, nothing, like nothing would happen. Now that I'm like chilling and I'm like, yeah, let me just do like not like what I want. Like, there's discipline to it, but like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know what? This is enough for me today. Like, I'm good. Like, and I'm going to push myself when I say push myself, but you don't even have to push yourself when you're in an alignment with what you're doing. You almost have to like shut yourself down. Like, hey, it's 10 o'clock, girl. You got to go to bed because you got whatever in the morning, you know? But if you could just tap into what feels the most aligned to you at the moment, you're gonna go as far as it goes. And like, sometimes I'll be working, what was it, Tuesday of this week, I was working on something, and like it just went away, like the desire just poof, and I'm like, nah, I started to feel like I'm forcing it.
Mm-hmm.
Once I feel like I'm forcing it, it's never, we talked about this the other day too, you and I, and it was like, once you start forcing it, it doesn't feel as good. Your juices aren't flowing and you need to take a break. And that break was the whole night. I was like, I'm going to take a small break.
Yeah.
And then I never came back. And I was like, okay. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of what it means to me. Like, just asking yourself what you feel like doing. And I want to say one thing that I have been doing also is scheduling like my playtime, which I've never done before. Like, for me, I thought working was play, and that was like a
Mm,
sadistic. Like, there's no, although I feel like I'm being creative or whatever, like scheduling actual playtime to like just do whatever I want is, man, that's a game
wow.
changer. And I know Preston Smiles said this. He was my coach years ago, and he said it, and I'm like, because he would like schedule time to go skateboarding, and I'm like, dude, like, there's so much shit to do. You're gonna go fucking skateboard for an hour. But now that I'm doing it, I'm like, he's a genius. I'm like, he's a genius, because you come
My
back
goodness.
fulfilled, so fulfilled. You're ready to go again, and like new energy, new thoughts, new things. It's a game changer.
My gosh, that's wild. It's like having little buckets of time. You do it with your finances. Why not do it with your time? It's like some type of currency too, right? You're exchanging your time. And
100%.
yeah, I love that. I feel like I'm a type of person that does, if I don't feel like doing something, I am gonna move in the direction of joy and I'm gonna go spend time with my family, or I'm not gonna do this instead.
Right.
But allotting time, I
Yeah.
feel like it almost like it's a nice, clear communication, whether it's within you so you don't feel like overwhelmed, or with your partner. It's, man, that's great. I like
Yeah.
that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Well, like I said, there was a couple of more questions. I don't know how much you want me to ask. I was gonna ask you if you had, if you were, if was there anything that you were working on that you wanted to share. You brought up your book, of course, and I don't know if you wanted to drop some dates, or if this is more you're still working on and editing, I think you mentioned.
Yeah. No, I mean, I could talk about it, right? I think we're going to, the goal was December of 2025.
Hmm.
I'm still hoping for that, but I feel in my gut that it's going to be more January of 26, which feels a
Okay.
little more aligned and not forced.
Okay.
The book, the name is Better Than You Found It.
Mm,
And I got some really cool feedback from some people that read it already. We're putting some final touches on like the forward and the afterword and all those other things that apparently books need. Like, done, ta-da! And then, like, you need a table of contents for what? So, yeah, right? All these other additional pages, and now I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, all books have those things. Like, my book should have it too. Yeah, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like slow launch it. Well, we're gonna launch it when it launches, but I'll likely read like the first 2 or 3 chapters online, like in this kind of setting, and let
love
people
that.
hear. Yeah, yeah, because I definitely want to have it on Audible as an Audible listener myself. I know that
Hmm.
that's gonna be. It's not a long book, which is also very good. I like to read books that get to the point, and I don't want to hear the same lesson in a redundant way, but you need that because different people learn differently.
Right.
So I think I don't even know how many pages it's going to be, but it's not going to be more than 110 pages, I think. Uh, and yeah,
Is this based on experience, or is this you teaching ways?
so the whole concept, Better Than You Found It, is definitely from experience. And the first chapter, I'll just drop a little sneak peek, is from a moment at the grocery store. And it was the Smiths right here next to my house. And this book has been brewing. A concept like this has been brewing. And so I had this experience at the grocery store where I used a cart, right? You get there, you use a cart, and I'm returning the cart to its place. And there was like trash in the cart. And I'm like, well, it's not my trash. And then like another like, spirit's like, yeah, but like now that you saw it, you're just gonna leave it? And I'm like, like it's not mine. And then like here comes this other, bigger, but you have this concept of leaving everywhere better than you found it. And so you're
Hmm.
just gonna and so, of course, I did the right thing. I took, a little wipey from the Purell thing and threw out the trash and I put it away. And I drove, and it was a non-event, right? Like that whole thing happened in like 5 seconds, right? But as I'm driving home, I'm like, wow, like what if everyone like cared that much about these small, minute things? And then I started to like relive all the moments why I think I'm successful is because of moments like that I just capitalize on, right? And it doesn't matter who it is. You've been in the office, right? If somebody comes and they need me, I'm there. Like I'm available. I'm blah blah blah, right? And it's there's twofold. Like and there's a little bit of a spoiler, but like if someone came to you for help, it's divine. It's a reason. Like they came to you because they think that you can help them, right? Shooing them away because you don't have the time or the patience or the da da da. Da, like you're literally giving away your blessing. And so that's how I kind of see it. And the book is bigger than that, but like
Hmm.
that's where it stemmed from, and just this concept of like big movement of like leaving everything better than you found it, because better is so
Hmm.
subjective. I think better is this, you think better is that, but like there's a core of better and we all know it, right?
Yeah.
And like if we can just care and stop pretending not to see it, right? Because that's what we all pretend that we don't
Or
see it,
someone else will do it.
someone else will do it. But like you have the opportunity right now to do it. Like how much better would your life be if everyone just did that?
Hmm.
So it's a call to action. The whole book is a call to action.
I
And
love it.
yeah, it could be a movement, right?
Yeah.
Would love for it to be a movement. And it's more about like who you become in leaving everything. Forget other people. They don't fucking matter. Like just who do you become? You and I talked once about like the way you do everything is the way you do anything is the way you do
I
everything.
was just about to say that. Yeah.
And like you had that moment where you were putting some furniture together and you saw, what is that story? You want to say it?
Yeah. I mean, I was building furniture for one of my Airbnbs, and multiple things that I have to put together, and then that one screw just wouldn't go in, and I'm like, F it, like it's standing right.
It's good enough.
And then I hear Romy, the way you do one thing is how you're gonna do everything. Is this my bar? Like just sure enough, I had to pull them all out and do it the right way. And then that's the standard. Like you said, do everything better. Like just represent what you actually speak as well, right? You can't just you gotta back the talk and or be an example, period. Something it doesn't have to be that, but if someone glanced at you in the parking lot, maybe the one that left the garbage or someone else that saw you grab the cart the first time, that in itself, it's like, they go back, they left their receipt. Let me grab it. Let me not leave trash there.
Yeah.
It just spreads.
So many.
One,
And that's like
two, three, four, five.
100%. The cover of the book is actually like a rock in the middle of the ocean because it's a ripple effect, right?
Yeah,
That's the
there
cover
you
of the
go.
book because
That's
it's all a
awesome.
ripple effect. And like even in the opposite sense, and that's the other thing that, I believe very much so is like and we know this because it's law, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? And so choose what you put out in the world, right? Because if we're, you know, protesting, let's say, about X, every time you protest and you're in conviction about that thing, just understand that you have just created the opposite and equal reaction on the other side. So every time you're leaving your trash, there's somebody picking it up. Every time you're picking up trash, there's somebody, like, it's always duality. It has to be. It's law. You know what I mean? And so that's why, like, what you're saying is like the person that sees that, yeah, there's a ripple. There's somebody else that's conscious now of that and stuff like that. And now you're going to move through this life a little differently. And that's, for me, that's what matters the most. It's just like awareness
Yeah.
of all of it.
Well, I love it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Congrats, of course, for dedicating that time.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I love this. Thank you, Mel. Yeah. Do you have any closing remarks? The host, and I'm like, do you have any closing remarks?
So, I mean, overall, thank you so much. I think this was super fun. I'm glad that we had this time. We don't have it as often, but when it comes, I indulge in it. I love it. You're definitely a person that I love so much and hold close to my heart. So when those moments come, I definitely love it. But go ahead, give your closing, wrap it up.
No, I agree. I feel the same way. You know, we don't have as many, but when we do, it's like gold. It's like we cherish it. So I love those. I love that. You know, thank you for doing this. I want to invite more people to do this. I felt like you were the first friend that had the courage, you know, to get up here and like wing it almost, but like you didn't even wing it. You had like questions from the audience, and that's typical Mel. And I love that. And I love your, you know, your openness and honesty. And yeah, this was special for me. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. And that concludes our episode of Leadership from the Heart, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and please share with someone that you think would benefit from this episode. Until next time.